last night, while I was cooking dinner, I ended up getting a phone call and catching up with Mark Bell. And we talked about a number of things going on in the world today, and we talked about a handful of different things, and he pointed me in the direction of one of his videos about perspective shift, and that perspective shift has been important for everything. And so as we talked more about it, this morning we chatted again, and he basically was interested in my perspective of the things he's covering in that video as well. So I'm going to run through them and kind of give my thoughts and things like that. And so I hope this is something kind of different. I hope this is just more of a conversation of things we can share, of getting different perspectives and welcoming maybe ideas that don't totally align with our own. I think we live in a really strange time where everything has been so polarized that it's always this us versus them mentality, and I really don't think that is serving us very well or very helpful. So let's see if we can answer a couple of these ideas and think about it. So the first thing Mark talks about in that video is what motivates him. And so what motivates me? There's a few things. There's a few things that motivate me a lot. One of which is time. Time's a big one. I'm not fearful of death by any stretch, but it's time on a lot of fronts, right? I'm not scared of death, but I'm acutely aware of it, and it is something that I think about a lot. And the only reason I think about it a lot is because that means there's a time that's coming that I'm out of time. Right? That I no longer get to do. I no longer get to experience. I no longer get to try new things and see new stuff and spend time with people. So time for me is a big motivator to stay on the gas. That keeps me going forward because I know there is going to be a time where I can't. Now, again, there's that time at the end of my life where I will literally no longer exist. And I'm very aware that as every day that passes, it's X minus 1 is the number of days that I have left. And so that keeps me driving pretty hard forward. Also, time in this way. So I've had rough times, man. I've had bad times that felt good to get out of. Through the window in my life where I was dealing with chronic pain and my knee going bad, this was a bad time. The 10 years I got to compete in the Highland Games was a really good time. The point being is you don't know how long the current thing is going to last. And I fully believe that bad times, for the most part, depending on your perspective, can shift how you feel about them. There was still a lot of good if I look at what I got out of the years that I was in a lot of pain. There was a big perspective shift on what was important. There was some big perspective shifts on dealing with the end of my sport and looking at what the cost was. Realizing what is more important to me. And there were a long time that I, like many of you, I assume, feel that strength and training and all this type of stuff is such a priority in their life. Well, chronic pain and bad enough pain took that out of me. It broke it a little bit, and it made me very, very aware that I needed to get out of the place I was in to really make progress. And so being able to focus on that and knowing that it's not permanent, the same way the 10 really good years that I got to compete in the Highland Games weren't permanent. This was going to come to an end at some point. So while I'm focused on it and while I'm in it, I want to give everything to it. For me, another motivator back with time is that there's a lot of really, really cool things I want to do. I want to experience as much of as I can, different cultures and cities and smells and sights and experiences, especially unique experiences. And so with that, there is also a realization that most of these really, really cool experiences cost money and cost quite a bit of it. So I need to be able to fund those experiences. So I think about my business and I think about the goals that come with that. And that motivates me. I need those type of things. I need progress. I need to be able to push forward. I need to be able to stay trying to figure out how to get better. Now, better can be defined in a lot of ways, and better has to be thought about as whatever the current goals you have are. If I kept thinking of better as the perspective that stronger, as I pursued for a long time, or throwing further, is what made me better, then I'm going to be stuck looking at failure. However, if I look at the perspective that I was very lucky to ever have found a window in my life that both my passion for a sport, my ability to compete in it, and the time to really give it everything I got all lined up. So I'm very grateful for that. That's the difference in perspective. Now, that window wasn't going to last forever. So accepting that and again, just sticking to the gratitude side of being thankful that I ever got to do that has helped me tremendously. And that type of idea, being able to put that into other ideas in my life, has really helped keep me focused. So that's the stuff that motivates me. The other is relationships. I surround myself with people who also bust ass, who also are chasing things, who are goal setters, who are doing more. I surround myself with people that motivate me, that drive me to want to do more, to be my best. And you've got to be careful with people. There's a lot of people that believe in this scarcity mindset, this mindset that your success is indicative of my failure, that it's your happiness takes away in some way from mine, as if there's this one collective pot we're all reaching in and trying to share that from, and that's simply not true. It's a very, very weak mindset that doesn't serve you very well. The idea that there is an infinite amount of success and happiness that we can all share works a lot better, and it also keeps the ball in your court. One of the big shifts I've made perspective-wise with relationships is that I value relationships over just about everything. With the friends that I hold close, the people that I want to be around, I surround myself with people that also don't have that scarcity mindset, with people that also want to see me successful and happy. If there's people around that aren't doing that, then they got to go. I don't hold a lot of value in standard things. The idea that because we're family or that would be an easy one to look at, although I have great relationship with my brother and with my mom. But it's who the other people I choose as family that really adds in. I want to surround myself with people that just make me want to be a better me. And that's what drives a lot of progress, is that I've seen people do it. And once you see people do it and you realize there's not any magic, then you can accept that it's work and that it's just going to be progress and process the same way lifting was. So I can apply all of those very, very similar things in my life that came from the gym, that it's going to take time, that nothing's overnight. And the other is staying at the wheel, right? So being aware of failures and not fearing failure. Using failure as a guide and as a teacher to keep me on the path has been a much better plan than trying to avoid it. I've made this comparison a lot, and I think it stands as I look at professional skateboarders or BMXers more where I came from and watching them approach things. And one of the ways I think that they have mastery of their arena is that they're very good at falling. And because they're very good at falling and they have fallen so many times, they can recognize it earlier on and make a decision before a fall happens. So you see them approach a rail and not go for it, or approach a stair and not go for it, or a trick or a thing and stutter and stutter and stutter. And that's because they've done it enough times to recognize something's not right. Overriding that intuition seems to be not a great plan. It's not always ideal. And so as they get better at failing and falling, they can fall with taking less injury, allowing them to try again. So it's being able to fail small and be able to continue making progress. It's not riding something into the ground based on pride to fully commit. Full commitment isn't that, and I don't think that's what people need to think it is. This full commitment to strength isn't till the fucking wheels fall off. The full commitment is saying that the failures aren't going to set me back. It's that I'm going to continue figuring out how to go forward. That's full commitment. Full commitment is being smart enough. It's being able to learn from mistakes. It's being able to educate yourself as much as you can on the thing that you're passionate about. That's being committed to it so that you don't make stupid mistakes and stupid decisions. Look, hard work alone and passion don't generate success. Success is done from a lot of hard work, consistently done smart for a long time. And it's about making more smart decisions over the long run than bad ones. It's about keeping the bad ones small enough that they're not boat sinkers. And it's building that momentum. One of the things that's really helped me with that is the perspective that I'm always responsible, that I'm accountable. And I guess the best way I can describe that is if I was going to lend you my car and you got into a wreck, I would fix it because I lent you the keys, because I take responsibility for what happened to my vehicle when I handed the keys to you. Now, if you took the keys without asking, probably got some other things, and I would most likely still fix it and then realize I'm responsible for letting that person in my house and near my keys. So I fix that by not dealing with this person anymore. The other side of that perspective is if I was going to borrow your car and I was to get into an accident, I'd fix it because I was at the wheel and I was responsible, and I would take care of it because that's the right thing to do for me. But either way, I'm at the wheel and I'm not a victim. I think that's a good mentality. Mark also talks about this scar tissue, this little bit of thing that he's kept intact as this fire, that's this thing that he can switch on. And for me, that little thing is that I'm a competitor. I know it. I know that in the heat of the moment, I'll burn it all down because, and it's not that I want to win or beat you, but it's that I'm so used to being able to flip the switch that makes me perform at my best that that's a skill that I hold close. That I can perform when I ask my body to, that I'm in control, that I can think my way out of a situation, I can problem solve, I can do these things when the time counts. And that's what's come from competing for me. There's been plenty of times where I need this throw to count, or I need this moment, or it's the last play, or, final weight at a meet, or any of this. And instead of crumbling behind that anxiety, it's about rising to the occasion. I think anxiety is important, and I think we avoid it, and I think that's a mistake. There are some better ways to manage it and realize perhaps that whatever this feeling is that's coming up is something that we should address and try to find the root cause of. That's about weeding your own garden, figuring out where your shortcomings are and where your triggers are and how to make yourself more resistant to those things. I think it's important that we seek out resistance. I mean, that's what we do in the gym. It's what we should do in life. We shouldn't just find people that are an echo chamber for the thoughts that we have. Find different perspectives and find different lives and find different experiences. That's for me what comes with travel and life experiences is these shifts in perspective, is that I want to know firsthand how they've made me feel. And I want to know what it's really like and not just what I'm told. I guess as we're covering more ground, I think it's important for me to realize that the standard route of life was not for me. I have no interest in having kids. I have no interest in the white picket fence and staying put and retiring and doing all that. I want to live a very different life. And I didn't grow up in a house where I was told I was stupid or any of this. I was very, very well loved. I was very well nurtured. I was given opportunity to pursue passions. My parents were really, really great. However, the hang up, if I can think of any, was that we're from a small town in Louisiana, and that comes with its own stuff. That comes with some limitations that people believe exist, right? Like, that this is how life is supposed to go. This is the plan. This is the path. And, after college, I didn't go into a regular job, and I tried my hand at being an entrepreneur from that point. I tried opening a bicycle shop, and I failed. And I failed at that because of me. I wasn't very good at it. I wasn't prepared to run a business. I wasn't prepared to do the marketing. I just wasn't prepared. I overshot, made mistakes, I failed, and that was a very expensive lesson to learn. And so it took me the better part of 10 years to regroup doing a regular job, which was good for me. I got to learn a lot of skills there from the outside sales game, and I got to make some money and figure out how to apply my skills and talents to different jobs so that I could be successful. So once I kind of realized that the narrative wasn't true, that I needed to go a certain route, that opened my eyes to a lot of things, that essentially nothing's impossible. Look, I'm not going to fly by flapping my arms. So there's some stuff. But the idea that if someone did it, it means it's possible. It could be very unlikely, but that doesn't make it impossible. And so you determine to go that direction and figure out how to make progress toward it, right? Like, if what you want to do is open a business, then you got to start with whatever the step one is. And that's really it, right? Is being able to identify steps that get you going in that direction and then figure out the next hurdle and attack it accordingly. Everything is just a series of those decisions. At this point in my life, I've been able to translate that fire I have for competition and performance into my business. I've been able to transfer that into having the podcast and being able to hold discussions with people and use my skill as a communicator to try to share more information. Mark talked about finding a purpose, and for me, it's leading by example. It's leading by this example that I believe a stronger life is a better one. I believe it provides more options to do things the same way having money in the bank does, is that it provides me options, that I'm not backed into a corner, that I don't have to choose things I don't care about and be forced into decisions, right? That's what I don't want. I don't want to be forced into concepts or ideas or decisions. And so I do whatever I can to work around that. But a lot of people operate differently. A lot of people operate on fear, and a fear of risk, and a fear of failure, and a fear of disappointment, when most of those things are hang-ups that were within ourself. And being able to free yourself from those concepts, whichever way you can, and realize that both... I'll end on this. There's essentially two paths in life, right? You either have one that's complete, follow your dreams and passions and everything that way and take some risk, or you have the safe route. Let's call it the safe route for lack of better terms, which is find a job, make money, have security, build a life, and operate normally. Take your 2 weeks of vacation, work your 40 hours a week away from home, those type of things. If this side and the standard path is what you're attracted to and want, I love it. I think that's exactly what you should do. If you're attracted to the other and think this is the only way, here's a couple things for you. This way takes a lot more work. This way takes a lot more focus. And there isn't going to be any days that you just get to phone it in. You've got to stay at the wheel making decisions and doing that. If you have any of the ability to try to run this way, you can always go get a regular job. Someone will hire you because you're passionate and you make good decisions and you try things, right? Like, so if you've got what it takes to succeed on your own, you can always take the safer route. But for me, I find the safer route to be more risky because I'm going to die one day. I don't know when. That is the complete unknown, and that's what makes things special, is that I know it's coming. I don't know when. So I'm going to try to do as much as I can with the time that I have here that makes me happy, that allows me to serve people, that allows me to share my information. And I'm aware that I live a life that's different than a lot of people. A lot of people like the idea of living vicariously through me, whether it's travels or training or any of these type of things that I'm doing, and I really do appreciate that. I hope that I can share some of the things that come with my journey through life and my process, and I hope some of those can apply to you in any way that you find them fit. That's purpose for me. And so I want people to know that sometimes the risk is giving away your time, and figure out what you're selling your time for and if that's actually okay with you. For me, it wasn't. I'm not interested to exchange my time for the safety and security. I'd rather take the risk and do it on my own. I don't want someone in control of whether or not I get a paycheck. I don't want just one income source. I don't want to get owned by a lot of the things in my life. I like to spend money. I like to buy things. I like making money. But I like spending and buying things that make me happy and give me an experience. Let me clarify on make happy. I don't believe purchasing an item makes you happy. I believe using a thing you love does. Whether that's a handmade knife or wearing a nice watch or driving a vehicle you love. Those things put a smile on my face and they improve my day-to-day life experience. Now, while, simple way I guess of saying that is, while I don't believe money buys happiness, I've never seen anyone frown riding around on a jet ski. You get the joke. But that's how I look at things, and that's how I look at stuff. Money's an option. Money's a tool, and I hope any of that made sense. I hope you guys listening as far as the podcast like it. Check out and leave some things. Also, let's start a discussion down below. Let me know what you think about these type of things, and what do you think about me doing videos like this? I would be happy to make more of these on a weekly basis, kind of go into a topic and down below. Let me know what topic you'd like to see me kind of dive into and share my perspective on. I want to be very clear that I don't believe I'm right. I don't believe I'm wrong. I don't believe you're wrong or right. I believe we have perspectives, and some of it works for you and some of it doesn't. The sooner we as a culture can decide that there's a lot of nuance to what works for me versus what works for you, that's going to help things go forward and us respect each other as individuals instead of thinking it's an us versus them, when in fact both the right and left wings fly the same plane and we're all on it. So the sooner we can work together and stop dividing and start having conversations and discussions, the more progress we're going to make. So let me know what you guys would like to see below. Thank you guys for listening. Spread hate, always party. And thanks, Mark Bell. Thank you for lighting this fire of something I've wanted to do. So that's it. Thanks for listening. Spread hate, always party.